Hello everyone, welcome back to another brand new YouTube video. In today's video, I will be talking about Azure Container Apps. When I last time worked with Container Apps, it was in preview, I think back in 2021, if I still recall. But anyway, here we are. We're gonna talk about Container Apps, and today I plan to talk about what is Azure Container Apps, what could we exactly do with this, and then I'm going to be showing you how to deploy a stateless application, meaning that the application doesn't have any backend database. Okay, this is going to be the very first video on this topic. I plan to make 3 to 4 videos. Hopefully I'm going to be using some web gateway, load balancers, stuffs, maybe Keyboard, integrating quite a lot of Azure services in the future. But in today's video, this is going to be an introductory video to get you familiarized with Azure Container Apps. So without further ado, let's get started. So Azure Container App is a serverless service offering where you do not have to ever fire up any virtual machines, neither any containers. You only need to say how many containers you would need to handle your application workload. You can also configure how the auto scaling is going to be triggered, how the pricing actually works. I will be talking about pricing in a separate video, but today I just want to talk this about pricing. You only pay for the runtime, okay? So where would you be actually using Azure Container Apps? As I said, if you have a web application, whether it has a database or not, you could deploy or host your application on Azure Container Apps. You could run some background processing jobs. You could also handle event-driven processing. You could also deploy your microservices application to Azure Container Apps. Furthermore, applications built on Azure Container Apps can dynamically scale based on the following characteristics: HTTP traffic, event-driven processing, CPU and memory load, and any CADA supported scaler. If you are not familiar with CADA supported scaler, I'm going to be showing you right now. One example could be Kafka, DynamoDB. Here is the landing page. Here you can see 68 scalers available. You can see the services Apache Kafka, Apache Pulsar, AWS DynamoDB, CloudWatch, AWS SQS, so you can see it yourself, okay? I would like to talk about Depper runtime. You would be hearing a lot when you use Azure Container Apps about Depper, and here is the Depper project. This is something we are going to see in the portal in a bit, but I just wanted to tell you what it is. Depper is a portable, event-driven runtime for building distributed applications across cloud and the edge, okay? So this is enough for now. First of all, what you have to do, you just need to type in Container Apps. Once you go here, on the left corner, you're gonna see Create, and I have this resource group as I used for my previous videos, and I'm gonna call this tag with Azure. You can bring your source code in the format of WAR file, zip file, tar file, okay? You can bring your container image or the source code, doesn't matter what you bring, as long as you upload it here. That should be enough. I'm going to be using container image in this video. Here you can see the environment is a secure boundary around one or more container apps that can communicate with each other and share a virtual network, login, and Depper configuration. So you know Depper, right? And what I'm gonna do, I'm going to be choosing EUS East for this one, and container app environment. This is the new workload profile. I'm okay with that. The next thing, I want to go to this particular option called container. Here we are going to define where this container image is going to be coming from. So if it is coming from Docker Hub or any other private registries, you need to make sure, let's say if I choose this one and I say private, you need to actually put the username and then password so that this particular service container app can talk to your private container registry, be able to pull the image, okay? So I'm going to be saying quickest image, okay? And here they have also support for Java. This is in preview at this point. I'm gonna say quickest. So I'm gonna take the example from these guys. But if I don't choose this one, then I have quite a lot of options here. So here you can see maximum CPUs at this point supported 4 CPUs and 8 gigs of memory. I remember back in the days 2020, Azure ACI used to have 4 CPUs at max, but today after 3 years or 4 years they have 32 vCPU support. So I hope in the near future Azure going to add the support. I'm pretty sure they are going to. So anyway, just to let you know, if you need higher spec, you can choose this one. Okay, you can choose this one if you need. If you don't need, you can actually go ahead with the minimal, for example something like this, and this is the workload profile, and you can use also environment variable. I do not have any, therefore I'm not going to use it in this video. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this quickest. So here I'm going to actually choose the consumption based, and it should have 0.25 vCPU and 0.5 or half gigs of memory basically. The other option you have seen is the ingress enable. It basically exposes your HTTP endpoint to the world, meaning that if your friend living in Asia and my application is going to be hosted in US, I need to expose my application so that my application become public for other people. They would be able to access my application through HTTP endpoint, right? And target port is going to be 80. It says that accepting traffic from anywhere, meaning that this endpoint is going to be public. So anyone can browse to my application. Bindings, this is very interesting. This is where database come into play. So add-on binding, I could actually add Redis, Postgres, Kafka, things like that. A backend database you can also add. We're gonna talk about it in the future videos. Today I want to keep the video a little bit shorter. And if you wanted to change something, can you do that after you create the container? Yes, you can. They have the edit option, so nothing to worry. You can change this configuration later on once you create it. Okay, so let's go ahead with this and create the container. So far what I have looks pretty good to me, so I'm good to create the resources. So validation passed. It might take almost a minute to fire up the container, prepare the environment, and giving us the HTTP endpoint. Remember when we did this video on Azure Container Instance, we did not have the HTTPS endpoint. Azure ACI provides you only HTTP endpoint, but Container Apps gives you HTTPS endpoint. If you have not still understood what it means, we are going to see it just in a second once the environment is fully up and running. So Container Apps environment is created. You can see there is log analytics workspace. I don't really need log analytics, but anyway, for this video I'm good. So once it is created, I should be able to see stuff. I just wanted to tell you, if you are new to my channel, please do not forget to subscribe, and this is how you can support me to grow my channel. So let's wait for it. Okay, so we have to wait. I'll be back once it is done. Now our deployment got succeeded, so we need to go to the resource, and here this is the HTTPS endpoint. So if I browse to the application now, here is the application running on Azure Container Apps. Look at this. First of all, if you want to delete it, just hit the delete button. If you want it to refresh, just click on this. If you want it to stop, you can stop. The one is interesting is right here. So I'm going to be talking about a couple of different things. So here you can see this is the active revision, and if you look into the traffic, 100% traffic is coming to this particular container, meaning that this particular container single-handedly serving all the requests. Okay, inactive revisions, we don't have any. Replicas is something interesting. You can see we have got one replica, no restart, time created, this is that. And here you can see that based on revision. If you wanted to create a new revision, you could, let's say you have a new version of your application, you have a new Docker image, and you wanted to roll out the changes, you could create a new version or new revision of that, and you could specify how much traffic you wanted to get to that particular revision. Let's say 20%, 30% you could. And if you wanted to add a container, you can do so. For the health proof, I will be talking about it later on, about the liveness, readiness. We are not going to talk about in this video. So you're gonna skip this. The one is interesting for you is the scaling. The minimum replica is going to be 0, meaning that if there is no request coming in to my application, meaning that there is no users browsing my application, then scale down to 0 replicas. If you have a lot of requests coming in, right? Currently you are running only one. When lots of requests coming in, Azure Container Apps, in that case, going to fire up more containers to handle the request. And the maximum allowed replicas is going to be 10. You can see the maximum in this case configuration is 10. If you wanted to bump it up to 20, you could just say 20. If you wanted to bump it up to 4, you could just say 4, and then you can say create, press this button right here. Absolutely fine. And if you have a volume, you could do stuff with that. We are not going to go ahead with this because it's going to take a lot of time to go through. I wanted to keep the video shorter. Then the other thing I wanted to show you, let's go ahead with this, containers. And this is what exactly I talked about. Let's say if you wanted to change, can you do that? Yes, you can do so. So here, if you say edit, and if you come back here and you say I want 1 CPU and 1 GB of memory, and if I just save, okay, you can see there is, so this is the rule I need to follow. So that's absolutely fine. So we have to say instead CPU 0.5. So if you have to say 0.5, then you can say 1 GB of memory. This should be fine. So if I now save, it should work. So this time you can see the CPU 0.5 and it's like 1 GB of memory. Is very simple and straightforward. And if I just say create, it's going to change it. Wait a sec, because it's going to be pretty quick and straightforward. And in between, I wanted to show you ingress. This is the interesting part, the ingress. If you do not enable ingress, no one can access your application. Okay, and if you say deny traffic from IP is configured below, you can actually block IP addresses and you can allow traffic from IP and deny all other traffic. Let's say your friend got particular IP address, he is located in Asia and you know his IP address, so then you say okay, I'm going to let you access my application, give me your IP address, I'm going to add the IP address right here. You can see, so you need to add the IP address right here. So this is called IP block, okay, or whitelisting, and we are going to discard it. I just wanted to show you these are the functionality available for you. You could do so. And then you have got deployment, and this is very interesting. So if you wanted to deploy automatically, let's say from GitHub, from Azure Container Registry, the information right here. Okay, and if you have an artifact, as I talked about, jar, var, zip file, you want to just bring your source code, this is where you could do stuff. Okay, another thing you could do, the custom domain. So custom domain is basically this. So now you got this particular domain. Instead, if you want techwithpfizer.com, if I want that, I could just create CNAME right there and point to this particular one, point to my Tech with Pfizer. So when someone browses to Tech with Pfizer, is going to be actually resolved to this one. Okay, and here is the metric. So in the metric, you can see CPU uses, you can see replica count. So you can see the replica count. I had actually 10 of them here is because I was doing some performance test. In the next video, I will be showing you about it. I was testing the auto scaling, created some custom rules. But for today's video, I think this is more than enough. In the next video, we will be talking about traffic splitting, we will be talking about the scaling, and after that we'll be talking about billing and other features provided by Azure Container App. That's it for today. If you like my content, give it a thumbs up. Talk to you soon. Bye bye. Thank you.